What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Elite Dangerous. When we left off in the last episode, we had managed to get over here to the Eagle Nebula with this really interesting cluster of stars, which I found to be very intriguing. I think there's kind of jury's still out on whether or not this is supposed to be here or not. I think it probably is, but the only reason it gives me any pause is the grid-like manner. That's the only reason it makes me wonder if it was some kind of procedural accident or not, but more than likely, I don't know. More than likely, I don't know. That's actually the consensus I should be going with, is more than likely, I don't know. Let's see here. So our first route for today is set up, and the endpoint is scoopable, so we should be fine. We're kind of in a weird spot. This is where we want to end up, sort of. I, again, kind of just arbitrarily picked an interesting looking star and went with it. Now, interestingly enough, I picked this one because I thought, let's get a bright red one. That would look cool, right? But I'm detecting a bit of a pattern in terms of what can and can't be scooped. So, for instance, these red ones seem to always be these TT stars. And the orange ones tend to be of scoopable kinds, and the bluish-white ones tend to be of scoopable kinds. But I've noticed that a lot of the really darker red ones tend to be either these TT class or something else that can't be scooped on. So it's one of those, not an actual fact, but just an interesting note. Actually, that one is kind of odd, because you notice how some of these have these lens flare type looks to them. These actually look like they're part of the map mode. That's an interesting looking one. I don't think we can get out that far yet. Maybe if we get to the end there, to that one where it's currently marked and we have a little bit of time, we might shoot over to one of these. I'm going to go ahead and bookmark it, just in case. The other question would be to switch it to map and see... Nope, it's keeping that weird non-projectile type thing, or non-projection. It's not really giving off any kind of lens flare. Anyways, my ultimate goal for now is to get over here, which is another nebula listed along the route to the Jacques system, or station, whatever. In the Colonial Nebula, I think is the nebula that this one's in. I don't know. No? L something. Wait, that's not the nebula, though. What's the name of the nebula? It should have a name. Oh well. So anyways, I'm heading that way, but it's about 2,000 light years away from where we are, so I can't actually get there. But I do think it's really neat how the density is changing. That's fun. I find that really intriguing. It makes me that much more excited to get to the core of the galaxy to see how dense everything would actually look from that point of view. Because it gets really dense over there, and it's really cool. I can't wait. Unfortunately, this is taking forever. But that's partially my fault, that I don't have a ton of time to dedicate to just flying around in this game, unfortunately. I really am thinking we're not coming across a ton of crazy, interesting stuff. And, you know, that we've talked before that I kind of attribute that to the procedural generation, that after a while, eventually it would start repeating itself. Especially when it's based on science and not just, hey, this would be a cool place for a blue one, this would be a cool place for a green one, you know. You can't have a green star in science. Oh, well, phooey on you. You know, they're not throwing out science, basically. And for the record, I have no idea if you can have a green star or not. That would be interesting. That would be kind of cool. I've never seen one. Never even heard of one. But it would be kind of cool. So there's that. But with that, you're going to kind of get repeat stuff, right? You've got billions of stars and systems and whatnot. And on top of all that, then you're actually trying to constrain it to science. So yeah, you're probably going to get a lot of repeat. So in that, I don't know, this is probably something I should just be casually jumping through, going places, all that kind of stuff. like, I don't know, when I'm watching Netflix or something stupid, and that way I could actually make some more progress with this. But I've honestly just had too much going on. Like, there's just been way too much in the background, because I've mentioned it. I don't like bringing up a lot of personal stuff, but I've mentioned it a few times that, you know, I have some finance issues that I'm trying to work out in terms of, I've got enough of a following on YouTube that I wouldn't feel right just being like, nope, I'm done. But at the same time, it's not really paying the bills very well. So I'm working through some other avenues. I've briefly mentioned, I never really have gone into detail yet, but I've briefly mentioned other projects that we've been working on in the background of, you know, that I'm working on a book, and that Caden and I have been working on a game, you know, things of that nature that eventually would be available for other people to buy, but we're not ready to sell them yet. So I really haven't been promoting anything because I don't really have anything real concrete yet at this point. But I say all that just to basically say that my time has been elsewhere. I've kind of had days when I record stuff, and then days when I don't even think about it, kind of thing. And I'm working on these other projects that some of you, I guess my point is, some of you may be wondering, you know, why aren't you putting more time into some things? Because you're not actually seeing the other stuff we're working on yet. When a lot of that comes out and it's ready to be consumed by consumers, you know, then it'll probably make a little bit more sense of like, oh, you've been juggling all these different things. So for now, that's kind of one of those, if it feels like I should be putting more time into this, or wish I had more time into this, something like that, that's probably why. I hope that, you know, once all this stuff actually comes out and we're done with things and blah blah blah, then it'll kind of make a little bit more sense of like, oh yeah, you were doing all these other things. One of which is I'm also working on a side project of getting into web design and stuff like that to help pay the bills a little bit, which I'm redesigning my current site and things for that in general, like for that to work, for that kind of avenue and stuff like that. So, you know, all that, and then there's always stuff like Dog Squad in the background that we've been working on, trying to record, and blah 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 blah. So yeah, kind of juggling a lot of stuff at the moment. So with that said, I hope that'll put things in a little bit more of a perspective of why everything kind of seems to be just chunks of, you know, I don't really cut a lot out, and it's just like a straight up 40-minute episode of whatever me babbling lately has kind of been what it's about. But yeah, and that's part of why I haven't been doing stuff off camera too. Like, you know, I'm gonna work on getting a little further while no one's really paying attention, so that we can make some more progress. And there's like the YouTuber side of me really wants to do that, and then the like actual person that's trying to get all these projects done is going, you have no time to do that. So you know, for it's both kind of giving you some insight into why some things may or may not be as streamlined as they could be, or as quickly progressing. You know, some of these people that have the subscribers, they have the views, and they're like a full-time YouTube. I put in full-time work, and I'm not really getting the full-time benefits, so I've kind of tapered off on some of how much time I put into some of that. But when I first started doing YouTube and stuff, I really was like, I'm just doing YouTube, and would spend all afternoon working on stuff and not projects, but episodes, and a lot of edits and cuts and things. But I mean, when you watch a lot of those guys, B00 and Generic B, and these guys that are like making a lot of progress with huge builds on Minecraft or something like that, a lot of them, they've got the subscribers and view count and stuff that that's all they do, because they're full-time, and they're making full-time, so they don't really need to do anything else. And they will literally spend like either an entire day or pieces of each day working on multiple episodes and stuff like that. And I mean, that's great. I would not mind actually having that kind of time and being that full-time type of thing. But, I don't know. I say I wouldn't mind, mainly because it would actually be fun to pay the bills that way. But I also have a creator's mindset at heart, like with Dog Squad and some other things, like I said, that we're putting into games and books and stuff that no one has seen. And there's, you know, that side of me that even if I was spending full time into YouTube, I would still want to do those kinds of projects. So I don't know if that would really work that well for me, because I'd still end up wanting to put time into that. Alright, looks like we're going to have a bit of an issue here. So second to last, let's go ahead. Well, I could just count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. Now, here's the big question. Can I keep track of how many jumps I'm making while I'm talking? I have no idea. I hope I don't die. I think it was 5. Pretty sure it was 5. 5 jumps. Something like that. Did I do this? I think I did. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Oh, that was close. Oh, and I didn't do it. Whew. That was close. But yeah, so I say all that to kind of just give you guys some insight into, you know, man, this is taking forever, or why aren't you just editing some of these blander systems out and just showing the cool ones? You know, it's basically stuff like that. That's pretty much all it is. It's just time that's being pulled in other places. So, you know, I keep doing this because it's fun. I have a big following for it, and a lot of people like it and enjoy it and stuff. But I don't really have a lot of the time that I used to for putting into a video. Like, I don't do the, I'm just working on Elite today, no matter how many hours this takes, you know. So there's that. But I'm hoping that a lot of these projects will be, yeah, I shouldn't say completed, but at least in some kind of displayable form. Because I'm pretty sure that's a word. If we can say scoopable, we can say displayable. Who cares?
Frameshift drive charging.
So yeah, I'm hoping that I'll be able to show more of that within, you know, the next little bit here. Side note, next name of this planet or system is kind of funny. It's like Pla S6. You know, there's like that MHN thing. I thought it was funny. I do think it would actually be interesting if they added some kind of feature that could, I don't know how this would work, but basically alert you to kind of like what we're doing right now of I have to pull up the galaxy map and check. I think it'd be kind of interesting if they did something in a way where it would like notify you. You know, hey, you can't... Not, I know the ones that say you can't make your next jump or whatever. That's not exactly what I mean. I mean, like one where... Okay, we have 2 more, I think. One where basically I wouldn't have to keep jumping back in and comparing. You could, like... hey, this is the last scoopable star before you're going to run out of fuel, or something like that. I don't know, something to that effect. Just some kind of little red triangle beeper indicator thing would be interesting. That, like, if you had a rot clouded. Wow, a rot clouded. Words are hard. If you had a plot routed, was what I meant to say, which actually isn't right in the first place. It should have been plot calculated or something. Anyways, route plotted? That might have been what I actually meant to say. Words are hard. Leave me alone. So, yeah, rot plotted. I meant, yeah, that's what it is. I said rot plotted, and I meant to say route plotted. There we go. Mystery solved. That's what should have been said. So back up like the last minute and a half, and just assume that I said route plotted. There we go. See, I'm good with words. I said it first try. Didn't mess it up at all. Anyways, it would be interesting if you had a route plotted, which isn't something that anyone could get tongue-tied about, and it would detect like how many jumps ahead or something. Like it already has the framework in place, right? Like it says you're not going to have enough fuel past this jump. So I would like it to come up and notify you I don't know, it would have to be like if you have a route and at the end of said route, or at the end of your fuel, it's not a scoopable star, then it would basically notify you that, hey, along your route, wherever you're going to run out of fuel, this one is the last one you can scoop from before you get to the point where you run out. I hope that makes sense. That's what I was thinking. But you could have just a little indicator above the fuel thing or next to it, just a little red circle or, I don't know, something. But I think that would be kind of helpful because you wouldn't have to keep jumping back into your galaxy map, which, you know, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's not. Oh, now this is intriguing. This is one of those non-lens flare stars. Well, now, isn't that curious? So we wouldn't have to go off to the side like we were going to do before and inspect it because we'll actually have run across one already. How intriguing. Okay, so this one we can scoop from and it's at the end. Alright, good. Exit. Okay, let's go. Pretty sure I scanned here already.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
22 jumps. Oh, and one thing I wanted to pose to people, let me know if you would actually like for me to switch over to the beta for an episode or two, because apparently there's been some new features that they've been tweaking in the beta. One being a way that you can, I don't understand the science behind it, so if I say things wrong, just completely ignore it. Something about you can like use the gravity pull of a neutron star or something to boost your frameshift drive, which is a really cool idea. It's almost like the slingshot effect of a high gravity planet or a gravity well, which is it's a neat idea. Actually, I hadn't really thought about that not being in the game, and that is kind of neat that they're gonna do it. But it's been recommended to me through comments and things that I try it out in the beta, because if you do it wrong, it can pull you into the well and like blow up your ship. I did see a YouTube video of that. Somebody sent it to me in the comments of like my last video or something, of somebody being like stuck in a gravity well or something. It looked horrendous. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, this is awful. This is terrible. Why would you do this? But apparently that's what they were going for, was trying to use it to slingshot. But it's something crazy at the moment. I guess it's still being imbalanced because of the whole beta thing. So it's still in balancing and not finalized. But I guess at the moment a neutron star will do like a 300% jump or something. And I'm like, oh guys, like push that through really fast so that I can I can get to the center quicker. Now, there is one fun fact, one thing they're implementing, or at least talking about implementing. I guess there was a poll. I saw it in the news feed on Steam and on Frontier's like bulletin board thing, but there was a poll at least talking about if they implemented ship teleporting, like to go from one ship of yours to another ship of yours, how would you want it done, and would it need to be instant, or would you want it to be an overtime thing? And I couldn't help but think to myself, I wonder if they heard me. I don't know. That could have just been like the entire community has been saying that, and I just happened to like come across that bandwagon without knowing it, because honestly I don't look at the forums and all that stuff. I'm not a very community based person. It's like social media and all that stuff. I still don't really know what Twitter is for. I have it linked on my Sleepless Nights account, where if I upload a video and stuff, it posts to it. But like honestly, for me personally, I don't even have a personal Twitter account because I don't know what the heck it's good for. Anyways, that's personal opinion. I'm sure I'll get a bunch of people that, oh, it's amazing because you use it for this. Yeah, that's great. I don't do a whole lot of social media stuff. Half of it I don't understand, half of it I don't know why it became a big thing, because it seems like a redundancy of something that someone else did already. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic for another time. My point was I don't keep up with people's Twitter feeds. I don't check their Facebook pages. I don't, you know, I don't float around on forums and try and investigate things and read up on stuff. I don't have time for that. Refer back to my time issues that I was referring to earlier. Alright, we're still on the same target. I'd picked up a little bit of fuel, so I wasn't sure if it threw off our plotted route. Yep, got it right. Yep, that's because most people would. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know if that's just been a thing that everyone's been asking for months, and I just happened to, you know what would be a cool idea, and stumble across the same idea on my own. If nobody had brought it up until that, and then people started posting on the forums, that would be kind of cool. I would feel like I actually contributed in some fashion, but I doubt it. It's probably something that tons of hardcore players that play nothing but Elite have been yelling about for months, and then I just happen to come across the same same theory. But anyways, that is, I guess, being talked about. I don't think, again, not really educated on the topic, but I don't think it's being implemented in the beta. I think they're talking about it. That was my understanding of the information I read. It sounded like they were polling people and asking them, like, if we did this, how would you want to do it? Something like that. But I don't think it's actually, like, in place and they're just rebalancing it. But I could be wrong. I do know in the beta, because I've seen videos of it, they're doing the whole, like, gravity jump thing, which is a cool idea. I like that. I'm just gonna scoop off of this one, because honestly, that last jump range fuel on there looked a little shady. So let's just scoop here. We'll call it a little better safe than sorry. I think I am one shy, but I don't care. Yeah, that's my last target. Alright. So we got 1, 2, 3. So far we're looking pretty good on the scoopable stars. Ooh, that's a long jump. Jeez. That's a really long jump. Unless I missed a star in between there somewhere. Okay, so we're going to be good for a while. That one's not scoopable. That one is. So as long as we don't... And the last one, like I said, it is a TT class, so the last one we won't be able to scoop off of, so we'll do the one before.
Fuel scooping complete.
Alright, cool. But there's one in here that I'm thinking I missed the star, or the junction, because it's a long jump. Yeah, okay, it's because it's not scoopable. There's one right there, I think, where it bends. Yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say, that was a really long jump. Alright, so our next one we're good too. Sweet. Okay. So yeah, that was kind of cool that they're actually at least talking about it. And at the rate that I'm going, by the time I get to the center of the galaxy, they'll probably have come up with some way to jump back, because it's taking forever. So it'll probably take about that long, and then they'll be like, hey, we've implemented this. See, that's my master plan. That's really all it was. You can ignore all of this stuff about time, you know, projects and all that. No. What it really was I set out, and I was genius enough to have calculated that if I start now and I just take my time getting to the center of the galaxy, by the time I do that, they'll have come up with a way for me to warp back, and I won't have to take this whole trip back. That was the master plan. That was the plan all along. You know, I just didn't want to reveal my genius and kind of show the wizard behind the curtain kind of thing, break the illusion. But, you know, that's really what it was. I just predicted this like months in advance. You know, yeah, that's all it was. But yeah, so that looks kind of interesting, that they're at least talking about doing that. Again, because they're talking about stuff and they're polling people, I don't think they actually have nailed down what they're going to do, but apparently they are looking into implementing some kind of teleportation between your ships, which is a great idea. I am so thrilled for it, because I won't have to drive all the way back again. Because, and I know some people were saying you can kind of get around that because you can basically park, sell all your data, go blow yourself up, and then start back in a free sidewinder, and it will like take you back to the main core area. I mean, that's doable, I guess. The one thing I don't know is if it starts you back at the same station where you landed at. Because I thought they fixed that, to where it was like if you picked the free sidewinder, I thought it just gave you a ship, but it gave it to you in the ship, or in the station that you last docked at, and that wouldn't really help me at all. If not, then yeah, you could do that and it would be a quick and easy, though you do lose your Explorer, but, yeah, you know. Once I've gone to the center of the galaxy, though, I mean, I probably won't be doing exploring that much again. Because I don't know, it's not terrible, and it's been more relaxing because I haven't had to worry about, like, getting attacked or political views or, you know, you're in the wrong person's system, so now you're being attacked and blah, blah, blah. Interdictions, but it honestly is not as eventful. It's not as fun. This is cool in a scientific exploration kind of way, but after a while, I'm kind of like, yeah, I want to go shoot something. So I've always been more of a, you know, Star Wars and stuff of space battles and stuff like that. Not so much the let's go out and find weird anomalies. It's fun for a while, but like I said, after a while, I've kind of gone past that point. But now I'm too vested. You know, it's like now I got to see it through. So you know, I'm thrilled that they're at least looking into some way to warp yourself to another ship, because I could just go right back to my Fer-de-Lance and... Or what? Oh, wait. What did I have for weapon? I know I had a Fer-de-Lance, but didn't I get another one? Oh, you know what it was? I think I got the Corvette in the beta. And then went back to my Ferdy. And then I went to the Explorer. So I probably still have my Fer-de-Lance as my combat ship. I honestly don't remember, though. I think that's what I did. I'm pretty sure. And then after the beta, I went to Exploration. But it's been long enough that I honestly don't remember what my combat ship was.
Frameshift drive charging.
Whoops. I hope I've been setting off my pulse. Okay, good.
4, 3.
We're actually doing pretty good. I just noticed to the side that it said we had 11 jumps left, so that's kind of cool. Actually not doing too bad. I am a little... not concerned, but we have to take into account... and we're just gonna stop here. Again, since this is scoopable, why risk it? Come on. Come on. There we go. Alright. Yeah, 10 jumps. Not bad. Not bad at all. We probably will have to stop for fuel one more time. But... looks like we're home free at this point. Once we hit... I think that's the last one that won't be scoopable, and then these are all good. This one we can't, and I don't think the one we bookmarked over here we can. So we'll probably go here, and then maybe jump somewhere close next to it for refueling purposes. Alright, so we're gonna be fine. Good to know. But yeah, so I don't know what else. Somebody sent me a video. Or no, I apologize. No, that's not accurate. I saw it on my timeline in YouTube, you know, like recommended for you kind of thing. There was a video somebody else did on like the outline of the beta 2.2, what they were implementing. I need to go back and watch that because I added it to my watch later list and then never actually watched it. Because I really don't know what they're doing other than I didn't even know there was a beta going on, actually, or another patch was in beta, and then I saw that video, and then somebody sent me a link to the neutron jumping, gravity jump stars, whatever. And then I saw when I pulled up my Steam page for it, the poll about, you know, the ship warping or ship teleporting, whatever. So apparently they've been working on stuff, and I was just like, huh, what? But that comes back to what I said earlier. I don't really pay attention to a lot of the. Oh wow, that's cool. There's like 3 stars in this system. But yeah, I don't pay attention to a lot of the forums, and I mean, like, when Frontier releases a video, like an update summary or what we're doing, or a newsletter or something, I try and read them, but I'm not, like, digging through the forums and seeing what everybody's talking about, what features everyone wants, are they mad, are they not, you know, I don't know, when I play games, I just play games. I either enjoy them or I don't really pay attention to what other people say. That doesn't mean I don't agree, it just means I don't pay attention to it. It's like, there's a lot of people that apparently, there's been a lot of backlash over, like, No Man's Sky, and I was like, why? And everybody talked about, like, it not delivering on what it promised, and I was like, what videos were they watching? Because I watched all the, like, as much of the E3 coverage as I could and stuff, and when I started playing it was kind of pretty much what I expected it to be. So there's stuff like that where I just don't pay attention to what people say. I look at, like, what did the devs say, you know, when they released an E3 video or a update video, a new patch is coming through, here's what the patch is going to do, stuff like that. I look at what the developers do, if I can, if I'm notified of it or if I see it or whatever. But as far as, like, the fan base or the consumer, I don't pay attention to all that. And No Man's Sky is a good example of it. When I started playing that, it was kind of like, this is kind of what I thought they were doing, because that's what you see them do in all of the E3 videos and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, what's the big deal, you know? And things like that. And I did the same thing with the Division, that, like, you know, I'm playing Division, I'm having fun, and then you look up, you know, you pull your head away from the screen, get out of the game for a second, and realize everyone's, like, yelling about it, and I'm like, huh? You know, I mean, there's, like I said, it doesn't mean I don't agree with some things. Like Division was one of those. There's some things I agree. I was kind of disappointed in the story and stuff, that it wasn't more cinematic, there wasn't more cutscenes, there wasn't more explanation, stuff like that. My biggest issue with the Division, everybody talks about, like, balancing and raids and incursions, excuse me, you know, and all this kind of stuff, but my biggest problem with it was that the character, you can't make any player choices. It's not like Witcher or Mass Effect or something where you choose how things go. You're just playing, it would be the equivalent of playing Splinter Cell or Rainbow Six or something. It's just a Clancy game. And my biggest thing with that was, you're doing it in a way that they don't have any choices, but yet the character never talks. And it was a weird, to me, it was kind of a weird design choice, that it was like, back in the day when there was a ton of choices that your player could make, you know, Knights of the Old Republic and, shoot, even Skyrim, you don't hear your guy talk, and that was real recent. So when there's a lot of options to make choices for players, I get it, because the developers can't afford the voice actors, or don't want to record tons and tons of dialogue for every possible option and then have different ones, whether you're a guy or a girl or whatever. So I get it, but not in a game where there is no player choice. If there's only the set cinematic story moments and there is no option for you to pick a different option, then why don't you just have a male and female voice actor to play the character and just be done, like they do with Mass Effect and all those, you know. If you can do it on Mass Effect and Fallout and all these other ones where there is player choice, why can't you do it without player choice, where there's less dialogue to record? So honestly, out of every complaint I've heard about the Division, that was my biggest one, because it was very jarring and it pulled you out of the immersion. Everyone else is talking and you're just kind of standing there. It's kind of weird. But, and I did want more cinematics. There's like 5 in the whole game. You know, I did want more cutscenes style story and stuff, but a lot of the story is conveyed through the echoes and the audio logs and things you find throughout the game, but I would have liked it to be a bit more like a Splinter Cell game, type of thing, where you're playing it and you got the characters and the cutscenes and all that crap. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that like everybody complains about, and I was like, I don't get it. I'm good.
Fuel
You know.
scooping.
I think we're gonna stop here because I don't know how close I am to the end of my route. But yeah, so in case anyone's always like, you know, I've had a few times where I'd mention a game or I would do a Let's Play or something, and I'd get a comment every now and again of like, how do you feel about this when people say that? And I'm like, oh, people are saying that? You know, I'm generally in my own little bubble. I rarely actually pay attention to what everyone else is doing, saying about a game or whatever. I mean, I pay attention to reviews and things like that, but again, that's more of a professional, like it's on gaming news websites or things like that. It's not just comments in an article or on Reddit or whatever. So if ever any of you are like, oh, this is big and controversial, but if it's all about what the players are saying, I probably know nothing about it. If there's a lot of like, oh, this game got bad reviews, then yeah, I probably am aware and read their reviews and know why they're, you know, trashing it and stuff like that. But when it comes to reviews are solid, everything's kind of like all around good, but then like, you know, a couple weeks after launch, there's all this uproar from the fans or the players. Yeah, I probably know next to nothing about that or their reasoning. Like I said, there's some things I get. Like with No Man's Sky, they talk about it being repetitive and stuff, and I'm like, I get that, but to me, I kind of expected it because they showed a lot of the same things in their E3 videos and stuff like Elite. We've talked about just now in this very episode how you can run into the same things. You know, it's, to me, repetitive is hand in hand with something procedurally generated that has billions of star systems. You're going to get the same stuff. There is no logical, realistic way. I won't say it's impossible, but there's no realistic way. It's not very probable that you're going to get a game that has billions of star systems and has an algorithm and a texture base or texture database and AI database and all this stuff. There's no way it can be robust enough that you won't get some of the same thing twice or three times or whatever. It's like whenever something's procedurally generated like that, it's gonna happen. You know, shoot, even like Fallout, that's not procedurally generated but a big map, but they had procedurally generated quests where this settlement was in trouble and now this settlement is in trouble, and then even those got redundant because it's the same thing. It's repetitive, you know. So sometimes I think people expect something that can't be done, and then when it can't be done, they get upset. And I'm kind of like, you should have kind of seen that coming because, you know, it can't be done. And like I said, it's not that it can't ever, it's that on current technology, current platforms, current RAM limitations, all that kind of crap, you know, there's just certain things that they sound good on paper, but it's probably not really going to work. And it was like the big one for Division that I heard about was like the graphical downgrade that everyone felt so offended by, that this isn't what you showed us in E3. And honestly, my first reaction when I read those articles about that kind of stuff was like, when has anything ever looked like it looks like on E3? Ever. I can count on like one hand the amount of games that actually came out looking like they'd looked at E3. It just rarely ever happens, unless you're like 3 months out. You know, like Fallout 4, they were releasing 4 months after E3, so you're looking at an actual final build. But when it's 2-3 years out and they're just announcing, hey, we're making this game and this is what it'll look like, yeah, they're tech demos. They're not going to look like that. The only game that I can remember in recent memory that looked that way, that actually looked as good or better, was Killzone 2, and it took it like 6 more years to come out from when it released. So yeah, there's stuff like that, you know, I think it's just unrealistic expectations that builds up the hype past an achievable level, and then people are always like upset, and you're like, well, what did you expect? So this is back on to Elite topics here. This is our last point for this route, which I'm a little bit surprised, speaking of repetitiveness, that the Galaxy map made this look more like a red type of thing. I'm looking. It doesn't have a color specific to it. You know, it was kind of looked more of like a red one, so I thought it might look a little different, but this kind of looks more like its standard, typical yellowish, reddish star. So nothing too crazy there. This one is one that I was interested in because of the whole... Why can't I select? There we go. Because of the whole, it's not giving off the lens flare look like most of them are. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Now, hold on a second. I want to get a little closer and see if we start scooping, because if we do, this isn't the right one. No. Okay. So that's fine. I wanted to make sure, because it kind of looked like we could. It looked like a lot of the other ones that I've flown past and scooped from, so I wanted to make sure. So let's see what this one looks like. It probably won't look that much different, but I'm curious about the whole lack of lens flare look on the map. I wanted to see if it's any different, but I doubt it is. It's probably just a galaxy map thing. But, and then from here, I might want to jump over to somewhere we can scoop from. So that basically we can start off... Oh, okay. Now that's interesting. So that's why there's no lens flare. Is because this is, what, a dwarf star? Maybe? Brown dwarf! Ha ha ha! I got it right. I am smart. I science well. Okay, so let's find us a star that we can scoop from. Yeah, see, like these, it ends up looking really reddish on the map, but then when we get in there, it looks like that one we just left from that's a little bit more on the yellowish orange color. Let's go over here. How about that? And then that way we can at least refuel before we start up our next route for the next episode. Oh, I did that already. One interesting thing that I don't think I have enough time to check before we jump, but I'd like to look into. Oh, I just noticed this. The smoky look is kind of spreading, like we're getting closer. Man, that is so subtle that it's really hard to notice. It's not like, oh, now there's a bunch of stars and the cloud is bigger. It's, no, it's like really, really subtle. Now, the one thing I'm not sure about, and this is kind of a lack of science on my part, but the one thing I'm not actually aware of is I'm pretty sure that orangish cloud you see for the galaxy, I think has to do with just the star density. I'm fairly convinced. Let me check real quick something. Where is... Okay, so over here where we wanted to go. How far out are we from this? I could just... Let's just grab a random... Whatever lets me. Come on. 4,000. Okay, that's too far. That's not... I don't think that's right. Because I definitely should at least be getting closer. 4,000. I thought it was 2,000. Maybe I was wrong. Or I went in the wrong direction. One of the two. Nope, I didn't go in the wrong direction. So it must have just been further than I thought it was. I thought it was 2,000. So apparently we have a few jump routes before we get over here. But I guess that makes sense, because that's closer to this than we have been in a while. So we went from, like, here... So it's about, relatively, at max jump range, it's about half of this little ring that we can go to. So we've got a few jumps. Let's double check that math, actually. So we've got... Let's say 1...
Fuel scooping complete.
It'd be like 2, 3, 4... Yeah, so that's probably about right. It's about half of this ring is about 1,000 light years. That's crazy in and of itself to think half of this ring at max zoom is around 1,000 light years, give or take. That's insane. This is such a huge map. So anyways, I think we're going to wrap things up here for this episode. In the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.